go forward with all this, I suppose, Victoria, do we think it's going to work for, say, a smaller business? And how we've got, I know several people who've gone and said, right, we're remote first, or actually we've got rid of our office completely. And I suppose that has the flip side to what Matt was saying. Some people want to stay at home. Actually, some people do want to go to work. How do you think, say, a smaller business that's scaling up is going to cope with this flexible space and flexible scenario?
You know, I think it depends on the business, and I think it actually depends a lot on who's running it and their kind of leadership style. We've seen it. I wouldn't be able to say that one type of businesses in the club is doing well at working remotely and others aren't. But what we are definitely seeing is that if they are going to have an office, and Max, you'll probably add to this. It's thinking about the space. So for a lot of creative businesses like yourself, John, is our space actually going to help collaboration? Is it going to maximize creativity? So they're seeing the office as kind of an asset for business growth. But we've also seen really well, businesses doing really well working completely remotely as well. So I think it genuinely, I can't give a kind of an exact answer on that. It depends on the founder running the business, what their kind of style and leadership is, but also the type of business as well. But we're seeing one member of the club has just launched quite an interesting tool called Space In, which actually helps creative businesses, because that's one thing we've heard quite a lot in the club. John, you might disagree or agree. It's that for creative businesses, collaboration is so important, and it's how you're going to manage to do that when half of you are remote and half of you potentially are in the office, and that's a tool that facilitates that. So a real mix is probably long answer to that question.
Yeah, I suppose I sort of echo that. I mean, I think if you're in a, I mean, so obviously we've got a wide variety of clients, everything from political parties to consultancies to traders, and you know, if what we're hearing is if you're an established team and you all know each other and you know exactly how each other works and how you like to do things, suddenly doing that from home on Zoom is fine. Obviously, like, that's completely fine. There's no reason why you can't do it in the same way that we can have this conversation now on Zoom. I think where the issues lie is where you've got people that need to learn, or people that are new to the organization and don't know, you know, not to piss off XYZ person on a Friday morning, or who to ask for advice on something without getting their head bitten off, or you know, or even just to sit next to someone and you know, listen to what they've got to say, watch them, you know, with 20 years of experience do something that you've got no idea how to do. You know, if you're sat on Zoom and you're starting your career, you just can't do that. You physically can't. And I think there's a risk that whilst there's a bit of momentum with working from home, in that, you know, you can sort of muddle along and still to a degree do fine for the short term, I think over the long term you lose a lot of the social capital that actually allows businesses to thrive. And you know, you just don't know the people that you're working with, basically.
Anybody would think you had an office business, Max.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, funny. No, but on a serious note, Abby, who is our head of chief operating officer, Abby and I were talking about this the other day, and we're in the process of looking for some new space at the moment, trying to, what sort of space do we need? We did a survey of all our team. We got 20 odd people, and on a Monday we need 4 desks or 5 desks. On a Thursday we need 19 desks. All right, so do I go out and get a 20+ person desk office so we've got enough space for everything else, and then there's 3 of us sat in a corner on a Monday? Right, it's really tricky.
This is the thing, no one wants to work in the office on Mondays and Fridays. Who wants to do that? No one. So you end up having to have an office, everybody, from Tuesday to Thursday, when the office is actually at capacity. So actually you probably need the same size office as you did before. Yeah. Again, sounds biased, but I think for lots of our clients, it's the reality.
Fortunately for me, Max, you don't have any offices in Leeds, so you can't sell me one. But
John, I think, John, can I just jump in on this point?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'd recommend everyone to look at a TED talk by Dame Stephanie Steve Shirley. So Dame Stephanie Steve Shirley founded one of the most successful British software companies of all time. So her first 300 employees were all women working from home, to the point where when the Sex Discrimination Act came in 1975, her own company was deemed illegal at that point because they weren't hiring any male programmers. So the reason I bring this up, right, I'm not anti-office. I don't want to put Max out of business, and I will have offices around the world myself. So I am pro. But in the grand scheme of human evolution, offices are weird, right? For us to learn and skill and stuff like that, they're not natural environments for humans to thrive. So the only thing I want to add to the conversation is I think an office space and places for us to thrive will be part of the future, and I will want office space in my own company. But I would encourage anyone that's listening to think back from a basic human perspective, because companies have thrived in the past without offices. They've thrived with offices, and they can. So all scenarios can happen. But I think it comes from a starting point of, right, what are the values, what's the vision, and what are we trying to achieve, and then what's the best environment to do that. And then work back from there, rather than trying to answer it's a really difficult question. Should we have an office or not? I think there's work that needs to be done on your vision, where you're going and what the values are of the business. And then once you start to do that, the answers will become clear on an individual company basis. So I'm not trying to put you out of business here, Max. I'm just trying, before people speak to Max, they need to do their own work. Otherwise Max can't help them.